Hi everybody, welcome back to Battlestar Galactica Remembered, the show that takes a look at all things original 1978 version of Battlestar Galactica, my all-time favorite TV show. We got props, we got costumes, we got the show itself. And today, as you saw in the thumbnail, we have a very special costume piece, and that is this right here. And this is the first of the Battlestar Galactica Colonial Warrior jackets that I've got. I've got several that I will be featuring, and I've decided I'm going to make different separate videos for each one of them because they're each kind of unique. They each have their own features and all that. And so we're going to go back to the very, very beginning on this one. And for those of you who are, kind of my age and were around back in 1979, you probably know what this one is. This is the old Unlimited brand of Battlestar Galactica jackets that were sold primarily through the Starlog magazine way back when. And I remember, you can probably look around on YouTube and stuff and find a video maybe or an ad. There was that ad, it was this black and white ad, it was like hand-drawn ad, and it featured like an entire family, the mom, the dad, the two kids, and they were all wearing Battlestar Galactica jackets, right? Wouldn't that have been cool? I would have loved my family to have done that with my parents getting Battlestar jackets. It didn't happen. I was the only one to get the jacket. I was the only one. I mean, I'm the youngest in my family, and I had two older brothers, and for some reason, they were in their young teens and stuff. But for some reason, they didn't get into Battlestar the way I did. And here it is. I was able to get one. This is it's a size 16 youth. And so that was about, I guess, the size of what I wore back then in 1978 and 79. And this is the one that was actually, now this is a little bit different. I consider it a costume piece now, but as you know, this was actually manufactured and sold to people. And so we're going to take a look at this. There's a very unique thing about my jacket, however, that most of you are probably thinking like, wait a minute, that doesn't look like the old Unlimited jacket. It is, rest assured. I will tell you why it looks a little differently. But the fact of the matter is that I now use this, or I should say my wife uses this in when she was doing some cosplaying and dressing up with me as Battlestar and in the fan films that I do, because she's small enough that she can actually wear this and it fits her perfectly, even though it's a youth size 16. Anyway, I can't wear this, obviously. I've gotten other jackets since, and I'll have reviews of those soon. But this is the old one for the kid, right? Now, let me just get this very briefly. Obviously, these are not available anymore, but every once in a while, if you keep searching, you can look on eBay, the auction sites, and that kind of stuff. There are some that pop up. Just today, just to give you an idea, I was looking around on eBay just today, because every time, I do research and trying to find out the availability of some of these things that I'm talking about. And just today, there were 3 of these on eBay. Now, here's the thing though. They are so rare. They were like, what, 30, 40 bucks way back when? Nowadays, the 3 prices, you want to know what the prices were for the auctions today? Now, obviously, if you're seeing this in the far distant future, they're not going to be available. But I'm just giving you an idea that some, they pop up and they are available. One was $330. Another one was $350. And another one was like $800 something. I'm like, oh my. So they are a premium. They are at a premium. There was just so many made, and they're just not available anymore. However, one comes up, like I said, every once in a while. Again, today, 3 of them on eBay right there if you want to spend $300. And they were all pretty small sizes for the most part. Kid sizes like this. I think one was a 14, one was like a medium, maybe an adult medium. It was a little bit on the small side. But there you go. Okay, now let's get to the elephant in the room. And for those of you who remember these jackets, why doesn't this one kind of look like those old ones? And the reason why I mentioned that is because remember, when we ordered those jackets, we got them in the mail, we opened them up, and there was the jacket, except, y'all remember, it was this weird light olive drab color. I kid you not. It was not brown. It didn't really look like this. All of the jacket material was this light olive green, olive drab. It was kind of strange. But, we were kids. It was like, oh, well, it's close enough, right? So we wore it. It was awesome. This one, you notice, does not look like that. this one actually kind of looks kind of brown, like a real jacket would. Well, what happened? Well, I had that. It was still in my collection, and right around, I think it was 2009 or 10, a very close friend of mine who actually is featured in, has a small part in a couple of my fan films. She plays Captain Danaea, one of these strike wing commanders of Battlestar Callisto. And she had one of these unlimited jackets, except it fit her. Except I did the same thing. I kind of did a double take when she showed up to shoot her scenes. Her jacket was also brown. It wasn't olive drab. And I got to talking to her, and it turns out that she specialized and really studied on how to custom dye the jacket brown to make it look a lot more like a real Battlestar jacket. So in the end, I decided to give her the jacket so that she could custom dye it for me, for my wife to wear, and for anybody else who can wear it for my fan films. And so that's why it looks brown, like a regular brown. And it doesn't look too bad. I mean, she did a wonderful job, and it looks pretty cool. So it's a very unique custom dye job. So that's why it looks a little different, and it does not look olive drab. Okay. Now, when we do these things, right, we look at two major components, the materials and the design work and the style and all that, right? Okay, so let's go ahead and take a look at the materials here with this one. Now, first thing, if you're doing Battlestar Galactica jackets, the number one thing that you're going to notice, let's face it, we all do, and what is that? The buckles. Oh, those buckles, right? Those unique buckles from the late 70s. They were luggage clasps that were used on pieces of luggage. I'm not exactly sure was it a specific company or what, I'm not exactly sure. But they were used on luggage. They would have straps around, and you would, snap them shut to prevent them from popping open and that kind of stuff. And these were the spring-loaded clasps that would work. And all of these, of course, work perfectly, as you can see there, in great shape. And so that's how they work. And they're spring-loaded, and they pull open, right? And so the first thing that you notice on any Battlestar jacket, you gotta have the buckles. Now, let me just tell you this also. Right now, you could go on Google or Bing or, whatever search engine you got, and you can type in Battlestar Galactica Colonial Warrior jacket, and there's going to be 1,000,001 responses that will have all kinds of Battlestar jackets for sale, okay? You can get a Battlestar jacket, no problem. And for a variety of prices. Some of them are, $100 to $150. Suede, leather, all this kind of stuff. But 99%, I'm just going to say this outright, but 99% of them are not going to have the correct buckles. And let's face it, if you're going to do a Battlestar jacket, you gotta have the right buckles. Now, later on, in another video, I will tell you which company, the only one that I know of, personally, that offers a jacket, still to this day, with the correct buckles, okay? But you gotta stay tuned, subscribe, like the channel, and when we get there, you'll like the jacket, and they've got the buckles and everything, right? Okay, maybe there's two places. Now I'm just remembering. There's another place that actually, they do them with the buckles too. So they're available. But again, they're not going to be cheap. That's just how it is nowadays. This is the year late 2024 when I'm recording this. Maybe back in the day, 15, 10, 20 years ago, you could get these things for about $250, $300. Battlestar jacket. Now, forget it. All right, so this one, as you know, is no longer available. Although we already talked about it, you can maybe find one popping up on eBay or something, but be prepared to pay kind of top dollar for it. Now, the buckles, right? This was 1979, so the accurate buckles were plentiful back then. So they're the buckles. They made them perfectly. The material. Now let's take a look at this. Now this is. I have seen other tags. Now my tag does not say this. But this was made, but I've seen other tags that say it's 100% cotton denim. It's like a twill denim. But the thing is that it is, I have to admit, this material, it feels fantastic. It is a very, like a brushed twill denim. It's very soft. It almost has like a little nap to it. The shoulders are made of the same material, just dark brown. The piping and the cording are all the same material. And you can, I'll try to maybe get a real close-up of the material. You can see the weave, the twill weave, the diagonal weave on here of the twill material. So that's what it is. It's 100% cotton, really cool stuff. Can be laundered and everything. You've seen kind of, this one has been, that's why I kind of, a little wrinkly. I haven't ironed it. I guess I could iron it and make it look really good, but I haven't. But, you know, it's a battle jacket, right? It's supposed to. So the material, you know, if you would make a battle jacket today of this material, you know, it would probably pass. That's pretty good. I mean, it looks pretty good. The shoulders are just fine. And that's really it. I mean, as far as this jacket goes, you got the material and you got the buckles. That's all there is. So on this jacket here, I mean, you know, the buckles, those are the original. So that's an A. This material, while not quite the, you know, the ultra suede or whatever this, the dough suede, faux suede, whatever you want to call that material that they use for the jackets, it's close. And I tell you what, I think anybody would love to have a jacket made out of something like this. I mean, it's very nice. I would have to say this would probably be at the very least like a B-, you know, if you're grading some of this kind of stuff, as far as that goes. And as long as you get the color right, I think you're doing pretty good with something like this. Shoulders are made of the same material too. Okay, so there it is. We got that right. Now let's go ahead and look at the style and design. And this is where it is accurate in a few things, but it's also a little bit inaccurate in a few others. So let's go ahead and take a look at this. Now, what we're going to do here is, especially with the jackets, we're going to go ahead and start with the back. Why? Because there are a couple of features here that you want to make sure that are there or are not there in the case, in some cases. The first thing is that for a Battlestar Galactica jacket, the back should be one piece, okay? When you look at all these other jackets that are available, if you search and all that, you know, a whole bunch will come up. Be very careful if you're going to buy one of those. Look at the back of the jacket. Many of those options feature one or two big old seams across the back. There's like a yoke seam across here, across the shoulders, and there could be a vertical seam down here. Sometimes they may have to put a seam in there depending, because the hides are not large enough, especially if you get into larger size jackets. But in any case, you know, the Battlestar jacket from the screen, for example, the actual show, should be one piece. So that's the first thing. If you want something that looks like it did come off the show, if you see a seam on the back, forget it, run the other way, right? Don't even bother. Okay, so that's the first thing. The second thing is this down here. The Battlestar jacket, remember, it was a waist jacket. I mean, it fell right here just below the pants belt. The pants belt usually, if you look at pictures of, you know, Starbuck and Apollo and all them, their pants buckle was pretty much right in between like the third and the fourth buckle on the jacket. So it fits right there. It's a relatively short jacket. So what they did was costume designer Jean-Pierre Dorlac, who designed it, he put this little, what I call a little, like a waist belt. It's like a belt design across the bottom, a cuff, if you will, with the seam and all of that. Now that is absolutely correct. That is exactly how a Battlestar Galactica jacket should look on the back, okay? So if you go and you want to buy one from some of these other vendors, make sure that there's no seams and it has this belt design work on the back. Okay, now let's go to the front and let's take a look at this. Okay, the Battlestar jacket has very unique piping and design details, right? The first one, let's go ahead and take a look at this side of the jacket here. The first one is, it has this piping right across, it goes all the way across, it's just above the top clasp right there. And then it has this rectangular piping right there, or cording right there. Now, in the real jackets on the show, that was just detail, okay? But What's really interesting on this jacket is that, look at this. It's a pocket. It's a real little chest pocket, which is, I think, is pretty cool. You know, why wouldn't there be, right? Maybe when you think about it, in Battlestar Galactica, remember, the pants have no pockets. The tunic has no pockets. And although we never really saw anything on the inside, like inside pockets for the jackets, wouldn't it have been pretty cool if they had a little chest pocket? Well, anyway, I guess the designers of this thought that, well, yep, having a little chest pocket would be pretty cool. And so they put it right there. It's about, 3 or 4 inches deep, and it goes right in there. So that's kind of cool. Not exactly show accurate, but it is a pretty neat little design feature, and it is there, all right? Stand-up collar, has the curved front, very much. By the way, these are the Battlestar Callisto collar pins. I mentioned those. They're the Judge Advocate General pins that we use for the Callisto. And let me just show you this very quickly. When I had it dyed, the real jackets came with the Battlestar Galactica patch, the Blue Squadron patch. I had that taken off, and since we were really using this for my fan films, this is actually the Battlestar Callisto shoulder insignia. We created it. We had patches made. We had one run of patches made way back, and this is it. And we focused on the triangular design of like the pyramid. And so that's what the Callisto patch is, with 12 triangles representing the 12 colonies. And that's our Battlestar Callisto patch. So I had that put on there, and that's the patch. So pretty cool. So that's why it's made up to be a Battlestar Callisto jacket right now. Okay, so everything on this side is okay. Now let's look at the left side, and there it is. That's exactly right. The cording goes over here. You've got the little dip right there. It goes down and back up. It's just a unique style feature right there. But now they got all that right. Here's where they got some of it wrong on the body of the jacket. Now, the first thing you notice, something that is not there, right down here, there are 2 pieces of cording that are squares. One goes this way, and the other one goes up and out to the side. As you can see, those little cording details are missing on this jacket. Not sure why they didn't do it, but they didn't. I mean, they could have. They put it all over here. So they just opted not to. So the body down here is just pretty plain, right? I mean, obviously, I guess that would have put extra costs or whatever, but they decided to leave those off. So that's not accurate. The other thing that is not accurate is right down here. Now, you notice along the waistband. Look at this. That waistband, remember from the backside? It comes all the way around to the front, as you can see here. You can see the stitching, and there's that waistband kind of thing. And the fact of the matter is, the real Battlestar Galactica jackets do not have that on the front. That little waistband only is on the back. It's from the side seams around the back, but it does not come around to the front. The jacket is just plain all the way down to the waist, to the end. So that's also inaccurate, right? So they got everything kind of accurate up here, but not down here, right? So just little things that you gotta look for. Now let's go to the sleeves. You'll notice the left sleeve, it's just absolutely a plain sleeve. Now one thing is, look at this. It has the split cuffs, although they're not kind of beyond the seam. Many people say, and I don't think I've ever seen any jacket vendor get this correct. But I've seen that on the actual screen used jackets, the seam, the split seam or split cuff goes beyond the cuff seam right here. It's a little bit further back. So it opens up just a tiny bit. I don't know whether they had like a little button or some kind of little hook and eye or something on there to kind of close it. But apparently the split cuff goes a little bit further back than the cuff seam. But this does have the split cuff, just like on the show. But you'll notice the left sleeve, if you're being real nitpicky, it had a piece of the cording right around down here, about 2/3 of the way down the left sleeve. And as you can see, there is nothing on the sleeve, right? So they left that one off as well. And then when we come over to the right side, now this one they did get right. Let me kind of turn this over. And you'll see right here up above on the bicep, they've got the piece of cording. They've got the little rectangle coming down. That is absolutely accurate. And now here's the other little quirk about this jacket. Just like this one, how it was a little pocket. Guess what? This one is a little pocket too. This is a actual functional pocket on the arm. Now, the one thing about it is on the inside, of course, it is unlined. There's no pocket. There's no nothing. It's just unlined, and that's all there is to it. And so the right sleeve is correct, other than the fact that this is an actual little pocket. Obviously, in the real show, there were no pockets on the jacket. And that's what you get. So, you know, the jacket is pretty good. I mean, it has a lot of the main features that you're looking for. And the things that it's missing, I mean, the little trim, those little cording right here, those little details, and then it just, the waist going to the front. I mean, you know, those are pretty minor details. So all in all, if you're looking to grade this jacket, you know, I would give it just a solid C, you know. It's pretty good. 20-foot rule, looks great. Even right up close, I mean, it looks great. Now, just remember though, this was a custom dyed job, okay? And I'll, at one point, you know, when I finish, I've got 4 jackets. And when I do the last one, or right, I'll come on and I'll put them all together. So you can see the differences in the colors and the materials and all of that. But I just wanted to do this to give each jacket its own proper due so that you can look and see, you know, what are the features, what are the benefits, what are those things that are there, what are those things that are there but shouldn't be there, or what do they leave off, like in this case down here. But you know, all in all, everything with the top of the jacket is absolutely great. And like I said, the only thing wrong, if you will, is they left off some of the little details. And this waistband thing comes to the front, and it doesn't look bad coming to the front. So it's not bad at all. So like I said, I mean, this is a solid C, I would think. You can wear this at all times, and it'll look pretty good. Like you are a Colonial Warrior. You can have questions about the material itself, of course. But this material, again, not bad at all. And with the real buckles, there you go. You got it. You got a nice looking Battlestar Galactica jacket. Again, these were offered way back in Starlog magazine in 1979. I think the kids' jacket was something like $30 or $40. I think the adults was $50 or something, like right around there. And oh, if we could have jackets like that at that price again, right? That would be awesome. But anyway, they don't exist. But as I said at the beginning of this episode here, they are out there. You got to look, but they're probably going to be several $100s for the most part. You're not going to find them too cheap just because they are so rare. So anyway, that's the Unlimited brand Battlestar jacket that was released way back in 1979. I hope you enjoyed this one. Put your comments down there. If you've got one of these, put your comments. I'd love to hear how many of you do have one of these things. And if you've maybe customed it out or anything like that, like I did with the custom dye job to get it a little more brown and looking a little bit more like it did on the show, I'd love to hear your stories and your experience with getting one of those, because this was mine. My wife now uses it for our fan films and other stuff like that, and it's one of the pride pieces of my collection, but it just happens to be a costume piece this time. So anyway, we'll do more. We got uniforms, we got props, we got all kinds of stuff coming up. So make sure you subscribe and like it here to Battlestar Galactica Remembered. Again, long live Battlestar Galactica, and I will see you in the next video.